For the best experience, put on headphones and write a comment where you are from and what time you are watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe. When I was a child, my family and I lived in a modest house tucked away in West Virginia. Behind it lay a sprawling forest that seemed to stretch forever. As curious as any young child would be, I was constantly asking to explore the woods. My parents agreed, but they set one firm rule. I was never to go near the river deep in the forest. Though a bit disappointed, I didn't challenge their warning and chose to obey. Lonely as an only child of 8, I spent my days crafting imaginary friends who lived in the woods. We would play together in my little forest kingdom, though they never ventured beyond the trees. In the evenings, I would excitedly share my adventures with my parents over dinner, reliving the day's tales in the comfort of our home. One day, with no school to attend, I seized the opportunity to explore further than usual. I put on my jacket, found my shoes with my mom's help, and set off. This time, I wandered deeper than I'd ever been, curiosity pulling me past roots and thorny bushes. I soon came upon the forbidden river. It looked treacherous, with its strong current and swirling waters. But what caught my attention wasn't the river, it was the figure beyond it. At first, it was just a shadow, moving among the trees on the other side. Then, as it came closer, I saw it was a man, thin and tall, with hollow cheeks. He stood silently, watching me. As a lonely girl, the sight of another person, especially someone who seemed so distant and mysterious, was strangely comforting. I waved to him, but he didn't respond. His face remained still, except for a small smirk that crept across his thin lips. Something about that smirk unsettled me, yet I found myself drawn to him. The next day, I returned. Then again the day after that. Before long, it became a routine. Though the man never crossed the river, we seemed to form a strange, silent bond. His smirk, once unsettling, became almost endearing over time. It wasn't until my dad asked about my forest escapades that I mentioned my new friend. He found the idea amusing, especially when I told him my friend couldn't speak. As the days passed, I began to look forward to our encounters, eagerly running to the river after school. Then, one day, everything changed. I rushed to the river like always, but this time something was different. The man stood there, just as before, but his usual smirk had shifted into a full grin. A wide, toothy smile. It was then I noticed something horrifying. His teeth were sharp. All of them. Glinting in the daylight, yellowed and jagged, they looked more like a predator's than a person's. My heart raced as I watched him, his forked tongue occasionally flicking between those dreadful teeth. For the first time, he spoke. His voice was unlike anything I had ever heard. It wasn't a voice that belonged in this world. "What is your name, child?" I stammered, trying to speak. "Tay Cassie. My name is Cassie Lippman." His smile widened even more. "My name is Levy," he said, his voice sending chills down my spine. I turned and ran, my legs heavy with fear. But as I fled, I heard his voice again, soft and coaxing. "Please don't leave me, Cassie." But I did. I couldn't stay. For months, I stayed far away from the woods. I avoided them at all costs, becoming a recluse in my own home. The thought of going back terrified me. I feared that Levi would be there, waiting for me. But one night, I woke to the sound of crying. At first, I thought it was in my head, but as I listened more closely, I realized it was coming from the woods. I tiptoed to my window, peering out into the dark forest, but I couldn't see anything. The voice, muffled by the trees, grew louder. "I miss you, Cassie. Please come back. I miss you so much." I didn't want to follow it, but something inside me compelled me to move. Before I knew it, I was outside, heading toward the river. When I reached the edge of the water, my heart dropped. Leva's voice wasn't soft anymore. It was harsh, filled with fury and pain. "Why did you leave me?" I needed you. You were in my own belief after I end. Suddenly, he appeared on the other side of the river, tears streaming down his face. But even through his sorrow, that sharp-toothed smile remained. Please, Cassie, swim across the river with me. Be my friend. For a moment, I hesitated. His words tugged at my loneliness, making me question everything. Maybe he really was just lonely, like me. I'd almost took a step toward the water, but then I remembered what my mother had said. That river has taken so many lives. It's dangerous. The pieces clicked together in my mind. I screamed, fighting the urge to step forward. Levi begged and pleaded, promising happiness and companionship. All I had to do was cross the river. But I couldn't. I had to get away. I turned and ran, his voice echoing behind me, trying to pull me back. In June 2004, the body of Cassie Littman was found on the far bank of the Shavers Fork River. She had been savagely attacked, with bite marks covering her from head to toe.